Rowan Roost is the Rowan site, and Catawba West. And if you've never been on, if you have access to it, if you've never been on Catawba West, you should go because it is one great site. It is a huge site. Derek will talk to us about this and about the family genealogy scheme in Catawba County. It's appropriate since Summitt has an origin in Catawba County. So, Derek, please.
Probably that one's okay. I just want to see how these tombstones are about.
My name, like he said, is Derek Hartshorn, and I'm real pleased to be here, and I thank you for inviting me. Of course, now that I'm drawing Social Security, I'm pleased to be anywhere. He's right, I do have the Catawba County website. This is under the auspices of the North Carolina General, which is the U.S. General. Each county in the United States has a website under the U.S. General. I'm pleased and proud to have Burke County and Catawba County. I also have my own surname, Hartshorn, which starts out with my 6th great grandfather, who came ashore about a 10-minute ride from where one of our biggest Summitt contributors lived, up in Beverly, Mass. I'm sure you know where Reading is.
I do.
Well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Catawba County, what I've got now. Since I've been down here 34 years, I can't call myself a native, but I sure love it here. And you folks who come from Florida and Indiana and Massachusetts, we'd like to welcome you to God's country. And if you're from around here, you know what I'm talking about anyway. Pat gave you a brief introduction into Catawba County history. And the first white folks that came here came somewhere around 1747. And for a few years following that, for a period of about 8 years, from 1754 to 1762, nobody came here. Anybody know why?
When? What time?
From 1752 or 1754 to 1762, nobody came to Catawba County. French and Indian War. They had 3 wagon trains that came down the Great Wagon Trail that skirts Winston-Salem and comes down to Salisbury, and they all got wiped out. So they quit coming down here until the war was settled. They first settled in the southwest corner of the county. I think probably the white lay claim to being the earliest white people here. Started with the Famil.y came down here in 1747. At the time that Catawba County was well settled into the 1770s and 1780s, this was the most Germanic county in North Carolina. We're talking about Lincoln County now. Catawba County didn't start until 1742, and at the time they carved up part of Lincoln County to create Catawba County. Folks down in Lincoln County screamed bloody murder because they had just a sliver of land. So 4 years later, we had to give back 4 miles worth of Catawba County to quiet them down a little bit. What I want to talk to you more or less about is the facilities that we have for genealogical research in and around Catawba County. I got what I hope will pass for handouts. I'll leave them up here and you can come and pick them up after I'm finished. And if I have time, I'd like to talk to you about how to find your Civil War ancestors, which is something I enjoy a whole lot. Catawba County has 2 libraries, one in Newton, the county library. It is a repository of great genealogical wealth. About every book on every family Talbot County History and Genealogy. There's also the Patrick Beaver Memorial Library in Hickory that has a local history book, and they're very well equipped to handle any genealogical research needs that you might have. We also have the Museum of History in what was the old courthouse in Talbot County. It's the on the square in downtown Newton. It's the museum that is administered by the Talbot County Historical Association. They do have a small library there. They have a lot of exhibits. And if you have time, I strongly encourage you to go and visit it.
You remember when
Talbot County Library, it's within 2 blocks of the museum, which is right in the center of town.
other two places. First one you mentioned.
First was the Talbot County Library, and the second was Patrick Beaver Memorial Library in Hickory. That's located at the old Claremont High School. Most of my research deals with internet research. I started the Talbot County Gen website before they had a Gen web. And it was just something I felt was needed because I like history and I try to share what I learned with folks. I started in June of 1996, and I try to keep adding to it. I've got a little handout here. The first URL that's listed is the Talbot County website. Also, they have a wonderful website for the Talbot County Historical Association. Paul's going to hate me because I'm moving around a little bit, so don't get away from that camera too long. The Summits are represented on the Talbot County website under family genealogies. That would be the third entry here. Is there anybody that doesn't actively use computers to any degree whatsoever? Don't feel bad. Libraries have them now. You can, all you have to do is just have the address you're looking for, go to your local library. There's always somebody there to help you. And who knows, you might even enjoy it.
Oh, all my grandsons have this, and when they get around to getting that list, they'll be on it.
And it gets you hooked, hopefully. We have a query system on the webpage whereby you can go ahead and just enter a query. It not only gets posted, but the email goes out to everybody that's subscribed to the list. And you never know if you'll find a helping hand that will either add to it or benefit from it.
And it will get response.
One way or the other.
It will get response.
We have on the list called Catawba West is one of 33,000 mailing lists that is sponsored by RootsWeb. We have about 500 subscribers, and we have a lot of scholars that respond to queries. And it's really gratifying to see the amount of information that is exchanged through mailing lists like that. I also maintain the Lincoln County list, the Burke County list. I also have a White family from Chester County, Pennsylvania to Tryon County, North Carolina list. And it sounds pretty specialized, but we've got 86 people who subscribe to it. So lists can be started by anybody, and you can start it free. And all they have to do is just follow the guidelines that RootsWeb specifies. And
Is there any cost?
no
You
cost
said it's free.
whatsoever.
You said it's free.
Just time. It can be time consuming. If you've ever used some of the North Carolina genealogical societies through membership to them to do further study or to get the knowledge that comes from the journals that they send out. I highly recommend the North Carolina Genealogical Society. I got an article in next month, hopefully, submitted, and they told me they're going to put it in there. I can't say a whole lot more about this, but these are some of the more helpful links that I've used when I taught this course at Catawba Valley Community College. I no longer teach there because so many people have educated themselves with computers and genealogy that it's just not the demand it used to be. I'm going to just briefly go over what I do in researching Confederate soldiers, and there seems to be a lot of interest in that lately. Just since the centennial of the Civil War, or as we call it down here, the War of Northern Aggression, a lot of people are trying to locate their ancestors that fought in the war. And I spoke before the SCV, the Sons of Confederate Veterans, last Tuesday, in an attempt to help them find names for the memorial plaque that they're going to put up in downtown Newton next year. And the commander said, he says, gosh, he says, you seem to know an awful lot about the Catawba County soldiers. I said, well, I just made it something I worked with. He said, did you have an ancestor that served in the war? I said, yes, I did. My great-grandfather did. He said, what unit did he serve in? I said, Company E, 1st Battalion, U.S. Engineers. And he said, are you a Yankee? I said, well, I had no choice over where I was born. It just happened that way. North Carolina has the distinction of supplying the most soldiers to fight in the Civil War. They also had the greatest number killed, over 48,000. And to give you an idea, all of the United States lost 55,000 men in Vietnam. North Carolina lost 48,000. 70% of the soldiers from Catawba County were either killed, died, wounded, or taken prisoner. And it's real fitting that they do remember these troops that did fight so valiantly for the cause. North Carolina also has the greatest number of reference books pertaining to Confederate troops from the state. I've got a list of some of these. All these books that I list here can be found in just about any North Carolina library, but they will definitely be found in the two libraries that I mentioned. And the Historical Association does sell 2 of these books. I've got the prices here. If you get a chance to go up to the courthouse and do a tour through there, I know they just love to have it. They're open every day except Monday. They also sell a video on the 26th Regiment North Carolina troops. I'm going to look at those up too. Just briefly, I'm going to tell you how I got into researching my wife's great-grandfather, who was in one of the Catawba County companies. I've got this stuff all over the place here. I found out that my wife's great-grandfather was in the war. That's all I knew. I knew his name, and I knew very little else. And I started looking through the 1910 Veteran Census, which, fortunately, I gave a gift copy. If you have any, I noticed there's some that's in here. This was taken from the 1910 Federal Census, and it extracted the names of all veterans. And a good friend down in Lincoln County just did a marvelous job putting this together. These were all the surviving veterans who were alive in 1910, and I found my wife's great-grandfather was there. So I knew he lived at least until 1910. So at that point, I started looking through microfilm of newspapers to find out if and when he died. So I knew he died, I just didn't know when. So I finally found a newspaper article that said that he died in January the 12th, 1911. That was about a 3-day search to find that much. We found out he was buried at a place called Barney's Chapel Cemetery, which is right on the right directly on the line between Cobb and Burke counties. Couldn't find the gravestone. Went back there with a steel rod and I poked to see if maybe his stone was buried. We never could find it, so I said, the man deserves a stone. So I sent for, through the North Carolina Archives, I sent for the soldier's pension, application for pension. And I sent away for his the widow's application for pension. She was granted a pension and received $32 a year for his survivorship pension. I took all the information I could and I compiled it, and I had a complete history, biography of Private Daniel C. Wilson. And I sent that to the Veterans Administration and filled out all the paperwork, and 18-wheeler came by the house. Thank you. They had a package with this marked on it. It was a 240-pound gravestone that they just left me right there. The logistics in getting it to the cemetery and planning it was, that was probably the hardest part of the whole thing. But we had a ceremony. We called in the 26th Regiment, reactivated regiment. They're reenactors. They came up there with about 30 men, a whole company. They came up with a 3-pound field piece, and it sounded like war had begun in Longview. But we sent him off with quite a dedication ceremony. And should you have a Confederate or a Union veteran that hasn't been properly buried, you can make it happen. It's not that hard. All the tools are there to do it. So please feel free to take a handout here, one of each, or if you know somebody that wants one, take it forward. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? This evening, return at 5:30. We will eat at 6. It's a little bit of a program there. It's not very rigid or cold. We will have a little fun or enjoyment.
I'll make sure of that. You must wear your tuxedo, don't forget that.
Forget it. We have a good meal coming. I believe we're going to have a lot to eat because some left. There'll be plenty for us. We'll eat as much as you want. Get back as much as you want. We do have to set up for the event, so I don't know if we won't need all of these tables, but I think we could sort of spread it out a little bit and give us a little more room. So that won't be a problem. I imagine the caterer will want to set up here to serve. So, but we can handle that. Any questions? Anybody?
Just if anybody has any other photo requests, while we have daylight to make them now, you can go ahead. If you missed a shot or something, just speak up right now while people are here, and we have daylight. Any others?
Don't forget, we still have some T-shirts. Don't forget to sign the form, the sheet, head of house. And those attending, please don't forget that. If you have not done it, get something.
My mother's grandparents.
We just been out here. Betty couldn't figure how I remembered those. But I remember Mark was just a baby, and I stayed home when she passed away.
And he was, let's see, born in, is that 98?
1898,
and died in August.
August 4th, 1900.
Look at that stone, Mary, M-A-R-Y-E.
And she took me, when I lived in Conover for a little bit, when I was working at General Electric in '65, she took me over to meet Paul. She tried.
I wish you had it. I bet you wished you had it now.
Oh man,
You
I
didn't
mean,
know he was
some
gonna
of
get
that
into this,
wealth
though.
of stuff gone.
Does it say son or daughter? It says daughter, doesn't it? Infant daughter
Daughter
of P.D. and M.E. Drum, born May 1881,
5 days. Or is that
age 15 days. But it doesn't have a date. It says May.
Just May 1881.
Huh.
Now, who is this Isaac? Is that your grandpa's brother?
I thought it said erected by, no, it just says our mother.
Our mother, Famil.y, wife of Isaac L. Summitt, born June 17, 1838, died August 11, 1917.
Now,
Boy, he's around.
the last child of grandmother and granddad was born in,
All kind of summons.
well that,
Grandmother,
oh!
Mary C., wife of John Summitt, born 1829, died May 5, 1916, age about 87 years.
Here's John Summitt. Now, that's Isaac's father, I believe. I think I'm right on this.
John Summitt died August 16, 1886, aged
About,
about 95, about 95 years.
You didn't get Isaac on there, I don't believe.
He's got Isaac, but you
no, I
don't
didn't
have
go,
John.
no, I didn't get that far down. See, I didn't give it to her because, what's that? They did not put up a marker because that was 19 and 17. Mother was 8 years old, and she was not the last.
So it says Naomi E. Summitt with 2 T's. His wife, March 6, 1858, June 22, 1928, J.I. Caldwell, November 20th, 1861, July 28th, 1941. Did he die in the war? Or? No, that'd be 80 years old. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Now that's interesting.